Ooh. So was it, Peter? You say you have a banana between
Between sets, yeah.
yeah.
But he's not actually playing the tennis though. He just
Yeah.
watches it.
This one's a bit overripe, to be honest.
Oh, it'd be a bit sweet
Yeah.
then.
Full of.
Will you be there tomorrow, Paul? Ron?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Good. Big Paul, you won't be, will you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh, well, yeah. Oh, good lad. Good lad.
yeah. I said. I mentioned.
Yeah, but I'm elderly. My memory goes, Paul. Yeah. You'll realise that after tomorrow.
Elderly. You're all juniors.
You wait till tomorrow, Paul. Everything will drop off.
Well,
Nasty business, that.
We'll see.
hey, we could have a cake.
We could yeah, we could have a cake.
Hey, got to have a cake. It's Paul's
She's just
birthday.
opened the cupboard and looked. She's looking for a cake tin. Oh, she's got a cake tin now.
Oh, now we're talking.
I wonder what she's going to do with that. She's got two of them. She'll probably clout at me either side of the head.
See, Paul knows when to turn up, doesn't he?
Mm.
Pardon?
Paul knows when to turn up.
Oh yeah. She's just started the process, Paul.
Oh,
yeah.
Baking a cake.
Ooh.
If we knew.
I'm going to
Well,
bust out of it.
one short tomorrow if Vinny's self-isolating.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
hang on, Paul can bring me a piece of cake back.
Are you there tomorrow, Dave? Dave the
Hopefully.
fish, Dave.
Hopefully.
Good lad.
Can
Yeah,
we
I'm bringing little. Dave Evans is coming tomorrow for the first time.
Is he?
He's had a lot. He's had a lot of trouble with his. Well, his wife's had a lot of trouble with anxiety over the last few months, worse than most of us. So it's great that he's able to get out and
Right.
see some of his mates.
Except that means that there'll be less cake.
Yeah, but Vinny's not coming, so it balances itself out. Paul.
I'm on a diet, Paul. I can't have one.
Well, can't we ring round one or two people and tell them it's off?
What sort of cake do you want, Paul?
Oh, anything with chocolate on it.
Chocolate, of course. I like the lemon
He was
drizzle.
talking to Big Paul.
Yeah. Big
I don't
Paul.
care.
Yeah,
Big Paul and I are on the same wavelength when it comes to cake.
yeah. I think we are.
Oh, crumb.
Yeah.
Crumbs. He cooks,
Right.
he cuts it and I eat it.
I think we're all in now. So, Dave, would you like to continue with the news of the week, please?
Right. Formula One. Max Verstappen won the 17-lap sprint for the pole position in the first trial of that. In the race itself, a controversial crash between Hamilton and Verstappen on the first lap saw Verstappen taken to hospital, obviously out of the race. Hamilton was given a 10-second time penalty as he was found to have caused the accident, but he overcame this to win the race from Leclerc in second and Bottas, sorry, can't read in my own writing. Bottas in third.
British Empire.
Just 8 points behind the Verstappen in the Drivers' Championship. However, after the race, Hamilton was racially abused online. Idiots in
Yeah.
all sports, I think.
Yeah. No to do with sport.
Thankfully,
I mean-
was given the all clear at hospital and released.
Yeah, I think it's the same idiots, whatever the sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Apparently, Red Bull are considering appealing against the low penalty.
Yeah, they reckon he should be banned.
I don't know if you watched the race, Keith, but I I think his name is Chris Horton, the manager of the Red Bull team. He was absolutely livid, and he didn't hold back on interview at what he thought of Lewis Hamilton. And his line of logic is, despite seeing Verstappen cut in, which you and I on an open road would think, what's he doing? You know, sort of thing. In professional terms, that was acceptable because Lewis Hamilton should have anticipated and taken a shorter line across the corner, leaving Verstappen room. I mean, you're talking about margins of an inch or so.
In split seconds. In split
200,
seconds.
200 mile an hour, you know.
Yeah.
And the fact is, and it was a manager from another team. I can't remember whether it was Williams or whatever, said, listen, we pay these guys to race. It's the first lap of a very intensive Grand Prix campaign. It's just an instant. An instant is the term they use for 50-50, knock for knock. Get on with it, move on. But Horton wouldn't let it rest. And so whether you get away with it, I don't know. Some said there should have been a 5-second penalty. Others said 10 seconds. And others said shouldn't have been a penalty at all. The fantastic thing was he still managed to win. So it's tough at the top.
Yeah. I mean, I know nothing about cars or racing at all, but from my perspective, he just dummied left, went right, and Verstappen moved right then when he saw Hamilton move right, and he was already inches away from him. But I say split seconds at 200 miles an hour. What can you do?
I think the coverage is brilliant because they
A
actually
bit like watching Chris Waddle, it was.
You watch the steering wheel, the coverage on Sky is brilliant because they've got cameras everywhere, and they're actually, you see Verstappen thinking he's there, and he twitches left before he goes right again. So he knew he was there, so he could have done what the guy later, Charles Leclerc, did, which is
exactly.
I'm not playing this game. I'm going wide.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It's who blinks first, and they've paid a lot of money, and it puts lives at risk. Yeah. But that's what the sport's about. I'm sorry, you know. That's what it is.
It reminded me of when Sue goes to the supermarket.
With trolleys.
Yeah. It always got me. The first lockdown, where we all see you queue up with our masks on at 8 o'clock in the morning to 7:30 to queue up to get in at the 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock hour for the oldies, you know, and you'd all be 2 meters distance, and there'd be policing you. As soon as you get past the start line in Sainsbury's, every man for himself.
True.
Right. Okay. Dave.
Still on Formula One, Silverstone could host a second Grand Prix this season with the Australian GP cancelled. The Japanese, Mexican and Brazilian races are now in doubt through COVID. Golf. Colin Morikawa won the British Open with the final round of 66, giving him victory by 2 shots from Jordan Spieth. He became the first golfer to win 2 different majors at the first attempt following his PGA win last year. Time for another question. Who also won on his debut at the British Open? What year and which course?
Tiger. Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods.
No.
Tom Watson.
No.
Seve.
Was it Spieth?
No.
Yeah.
I heard this. They mentioned it.
Is it somebody like Arnold Palmer or Jack Nicklaus?
No.
Or Tony Jacklin, yeah.
It's this century.
Yeah, it's a
Century.
fairly modern player.
This
isn't it?
century.
Yeah.
Does he play left-handed?
I haven't a clue.
No, Dustin
Save on
Dustin
time.
Johnson.
Curtis, 2003, and it was at the same course, Royal St George's.
Who was it? Sorry.
Ben
was it?
Curtis.
Ben Curtis.
Never
Yeah,
heard
would
of
never
him.
know.
Question Ben Turpin.
There you go. Cycling. Tadej Pogačar. And I had to look up how to pronounce that one, I must admit.
Pogačar.
He's even doing research.
Pogačar.
Won the
Researching it.
Tour de France for the second consecutive year. At 22, he became the youngest rider to achieve 2 wins at the race. Besides the overall win, he also won the mountain and young riders classifications. Mark Cavendish, hoping to beat Eddie Merckx's record, was denied a final stage win, finishing 3rd on the traditional sprint on the Champs-Elysees, but won the yellow jersey overall.
Green jersey.
Green jersey.
Sorry, not yellow jersey, I put wrong thing. Yeah, green.
Yeah,
Sprint,
lost by not very much, didn't he?
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. All newsreaders have the critics, Dave. Yeah.
yeah. I'm sure he'd love to have won the yellow jersey, but
Yeah.
right. Football.
Oh no.
It's begging time. We've got to get the collecting tins out for Lionel Messi. He's agreed to stay at Barcelona until 2026, but on a reduced salary of 257 euros per week.
Oh dear.
Yeah, from 515,000 euros. I mean,
Oh,
terrible.
Yeah.
he won't survive.
No.
Only makes him a millionaire every month, not instead of every fortnight. Dear
Get it in
God.
shirts. Get it in
Poor
shirts.
fella.
There's some players in this country earning more than that, want fit to wipe his boots.
His
Yeah.
net worth is reported to be 296 million quid. So, can't be bad.
Not a
It's
bad
not
player.
worth it, but no footballer's worth it, are they?
No.
It's
No.
definitely not worth it.
No.
Brilliant player, but it's ridiculous money. Money will kill the game, as we've been saying for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sergio Ramos has moved from Real Madrid after 16 years at the club to PSG on a 2-year deal.
Where's he going? Mixed martial arts?
Cage fighting.
Darts. Darts.
The dark arts.
Where's he gone?
PSG.
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 Right.
PSG.
Nearer to home, Lincoln, Michael Appleton has had to step down for a spell. He's gone into hospital for operation to remove a tumour, but hopes to be back. Carabao Cup semi-finals, reverting back to a two-leg affair this season. Just a little bit on snooker. The season commenced on Saturday with the Championship League multi-group event in Leicester. On to local sport. And I'll start with Wednesday. They've signed 3 new players. Dennis Adeniran from Everton, Olamide Shadafi on a season loan from QPR, and Jaden Brown on a free transfer.
That's better name I can pronounce.
Yeah.
After starting at Spurs.
I'll get the shirt sales going. They will.
Wednesday played 2 friendlies in the week, winning 1-0 at Alfreton, but losing 2-0 at Barnsley.
Really?
United's no new signings so far. Have added 2 ex-Arsenal youngsters to the academy. So
The,
that's
the
not going
big,
to get us too far.
no, the big news, the big news that
was undergone a second operation on his knee after missing the majority of last season. Now looks as though he's going to miss a chunk of the next. Rob headed off
these
to
rumours,
Hungary,
Dave,
friendly.
Dave, just a minute. There's rumours flying round that Jack O'Connell's finished.
Well, I won't be told surprised that after going in for a second op, yeah.
Terrible look, that. Terrible.
Aye. Sorry, Dave, to interrupt you.
No,
If it's true, it's awful.
I'd been thinking when I saw that he'd gone for the second half. He's gone from being touted as an England centre half to probably his career finished.
He'd have been at the Euros. He's a better centre half than Tyrone Mings.
Yeah, but Tyrone Mings is a better politician.
Yeah, I suppose so. Go on then, Dave.
Right. Sheffield Steelers have announced the return of two defensive players, duo of Davy Phillips and Sam Jones, and also signed the former Czech junior international Martin Lau, a right winger. Apparently one of the fastest skaters in the Czech top league. 18-year-old 200-meter sprinter Louis Hinchley from the Sheffield and Durham Athletics Club will represent GB at the European Athletics Under-20 Championship. And finally, you'll be glad to hear, Sheffield Tigers Speedway pushed all the way by bottom club Kings Lynn, but won the last heat 5-1 to win 46-44.
Wow.
There ended the lesson.
Yeah, well done. Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, good that you got Speedway and ice hockey in there, because two long-lasting Sheffield sports that we've done well in. Barely get a mention.
Yes.
Ivan Major.
Rocket
Yes.
Ron Shudra.
Yeah, Rocket Ron Shudra.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
Dave the Fish.
Also, Mick Harford, he's battling cancer as well, isn't he?
Is he?
Mick Harford,
Yeah.
now the Luton manager. It's
Yeah.
just
Oh,
came
yeah.
on,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Can I just very briefly mention the passing away on Saturday of Peter Wynne Thomas, who
No,
certainly.
really?
Sorry, Peter, did you not know?
No.
I'm sorry to have said it in that way.
No, just
He died at 86, various illnesses. That's former president of Notts, probably the greatest cricket statistician of recent decades,
Mhm.
and a man that you go to if you're writing a book. And people like Duncan Hamilton, who've written 3 books of the year, constantly referred to Peter for his immense knowledge. And on Sunday, Trent Bridge, before the match, gave him full honours, black armbands, etc. Sorry, Peter, I didn't realise you didn't.
no,
know.
I don't.
But
Thanks for that.
I'm sorry. He's been a man. He's been a man in my family's sort of sphere. He was a great friend of my dad's. He was a good friend to me, and he was just a great cricket person. He was in charge of a library of over 15,000 cricket books at Trent Bridge. It's worth millions.
And you never saw him.
You only saw him if you went to the library,
Yes,
and knocked on the
quite,
door and
yeah.
said, "Peter, can I come in and say hi?" And he'd be on a typewriter. Okay, a typewriter. I'll say that
Yeah.
again. And when school kids came apparently to have a visit, they would say, "What is that?" And he would take great delight in explaining that that's how he still writes all his letters. Anyway, I'm sorry, I don't take the time up, but it's just a passing of a remarkable individual in sport.
Absolutely.
It happened to be cricket, but he was a great ambassador for
Yeah.
sport.
It's appropriate to be mentioned.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Right, okay. Chris,
Yes. Hello.
did the big build up before you came on
Oh, sorry. Did you? Oh, I missed it. Sorry.
to mention
Sorry.
to mention
Go on.
that you're going to do the Mansell story?
All right, the Mansell story. Yes,
Mansell story.
it's an anecdote rather than a great story. But
Right.
if you want me to just say it, if it won't take long, it's
Fire
Formula
away.
One-ish.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I've got to take you back to 1995. Nigel Mansell has, of course, already won the World Championship in F1, but this is 1995. I'm on a holiday to watch cricket. I'm in Barbados, and I'm asked by a lady golfer called Julie Stevenson, who is the great Franklin Stevenson's wife, of course. In her own right, she is a Barbadian champion golfer. Well, she asked me if I'd like to accompany her on a golf day on the island. I'm not a golfer, but I take interest. And she thought it was some sort of an opening with some guests, and she wasn't really very clear about what it was, but it was a round of golf, okay? So being on holiday and being sunny, I said, of course, but it was in actual fact the opening day of the Royal Westmoreland Golf Club, which is probably one of the most prestigious golf clubs in the Caribbean. And they're staging this day, you see. So the guest players in this Pro-Am tournament are some of the most well-known people in sport in the world, okay? And Julie's turning up, you know, just to have a game of golf with me. Not me, but me accompanying her. She had no interest whatsoever in the celebrities. She just wanted to walk around and hit the golf balls, and I agreed to be caddy. Well, caddy in this case meant driving a brand new golf cart around a pristine course on what I think are American style. They have concrete pathways, don't they, in America? And this one does. Yeah. So you can just probably see the golf carts in the background of this photograph, which is just before we set off on a round of golf on this Pro-Am. And there's me and Julie in 1995 and the golf carts in the background. The guests assembling at the front there of the clubhouse included people like Richie Benaud, Brian Lara, the racehorse and millionaire owner Robert Sangster, obviously Sir Gary Sobers, the actor Christopher Biggins, and Nigel Mansell.
Christopher Biggins?
Christopher Biggins was there, right? Yes.
Robert
I'm
Sangster,
making this up.
Bob Sangster and the Sangster family are Liverpoolians and were friends of our family.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Oh, well, he was
flash from the past.
Yeah, there you go. And it was just, you know, going back to Mansell. Julie had absolutely no idea of who he was. And she asked me, without any humour, she said, "What sport does he play?" So this is a lovely Julie, you know, just a brilliant golfer and such a lovely lady, no pretensions. Anyway, we set off on this course, and I had the opportunity, gentlemen, on the way to the first tee in the buggy, to do something which many have tried, but few have done successfully. I overtook Nigel Mansell on the inside on the first corner. It was one of those things, it just had to be done.
You did.
And it didn't crash. There were no cameras, there was no crowd invited, so I only have this memory and your understanding that really did take place. But it was a massively skillful manoeuvre, obviously on my part. I can't believe it happened. Julie was partnered with Richie Benaud and also Mark Nicholas. I think that was right. Might have got that wrong. And I spoke briefly to Richie Benaud on the back nine when we had a break for a drink. And what a lovely gentleman and a great person. Great thrill to meet someone as like Richie Benaud. Later in the day, we saw, or I witnessed, an amazing thing. Christopher Biggins is the worst golfer in the history of the universe. Okay, he's probably never
the best pantomime dame.
Well,
he isn't.
Oh, yes, he is. Right. And he was hopeless. So what they did, they just let Christopher. No, it wasn't behind me, was it? They let Christopher Biggins putt, okay, because he couldn't hit the ball, and he was hopeless. But we just happened to be near one of the holes he was on. This is a picture of when Christopher Biggins holed an absolute monster putt. It must have been 25-footer, and the person embracing him in sheer disbelief is Mark Nicholas. And Gary Sobers is sort of in total astonishment that Christopher Biggins could do this, and he's on the green as well. So that was a lucky photograph. And as they came off the green, you can see that in a bit better definition. That's Christopher Biggins wearing this ridiculous shirt, and Gary Sobers coming off having putted this monster putt. It was quite amazing. You'll forgive me, gentlemen, but on a subsequent year, I did get Sir Gary to autograph the event. You know me by now. Okay, so there's it. Well, when we got back to the clubhouse, obviously Julie was presented with a trophy. I think she was the top lady player, and we ended this very cool day chatting with various people, including Mansell, who she'd still never heard of. And there we are together, sort of chilling out in the clubhouse with some sort of drink and whatever. And obviously I did take her up to Nigel Mansell and say, Mr. Mansell, this is Julie Stevenson, she plays golf. What do you do? No, I didn't say that. But that's the anecdote. It was a bit of fun on holiday. It was a great thrill for me. And Julie was brilliant. And the Royal Westmoreland Golf Course is now home to numerous people who bought houses on the land, on the property. And it's just a millionaire's playground. And I've never, ever been back, nor will I ever be invited.
Chris, I thought you were going to say, Julie said to Nigel, I understand you drive, and he'd say yes. Could you give me a lift to the shops, please?
Genuinely, she had never heard of him, which is fair enough, fair enough.
He had a lovely.
He's never heard of Franklin Stevenson.
He had a lovely pad in the Isle of Man in Port Erin, which is with a long sweeping drive, like your concrete golf paths, that's all the way up. Fabulous. Yeah.
He had a lovely place in Clearwater as well, and my son was a big Nigel Mansell fan. And while we were on holiday there one year, we plucked up the courage to go and knock on the door of Nigel Mansell's house. He wasn't in.
Didn't he have a flag like the Queen, to say she's in?
My oldest friend lives in Port Erin and has pointed out Nigel Mansell's house to us and said, what an abomination it is, really, compared with the rest of Port Erin. But there you are.
It's a funny island, the Isle of Man. The south is, it's past its heyday, but it was very popular in the Victorian days and the early 50s and 60s. And it was a lovely spot. Then you go into the middle of the island and you got wild fuchsia growing, what have you. Then you go to the north, it's like North Yorkshire Moors, it's in our and it's got its own microclimate because it's on the Gulf Stream. So whatever the mainland's weather is, you can forget it. They've got fabulous. It's a lovely little island, but the Manx being the Manx, they don't talk to anybody, so they have no idea how to, deal with tourists and what have you.
Norman Wisdom moved there, didn't he?
He did.
Saw the great man. There's a lovely spot on the south of the island called the Sounds. It's a stretch of water, as you might imagine. But they built, as a Millennium Project, a sort of panoramic cafe that looked out over to the Calf of Man, where the seals were and the rest of it. And it was built into the side. And it was beautifully done. So, the wild animals couldn't see the people and, wouldn't get worried. But I went into the cafe with my wife and Norman Wisdom was there. And being the showman he is, there was only me, my wife, his daughter, and him.
He fell over.
Two girls working behind the cafe. And he plays this act and he just picks up a scone and pulls it apart. And of course, the cream sticks on one half, so it puts it down. And then he looks at you. Are you following me? You following me? He picks up another one, pulls it apart, and look, oh, the one with the cream on. Are you watching me? Are you watching me? Sort of thing. Not a word is spoken. And he puts the two together and he says, I'll have that one. And the girls behind the cafe go, what's all that about?
That's the best Norman Wisdom impression I've ever seen, Ian.
Apparently he lives in Jersey now, apparently. Does everyone know that? I didn't know that, but he lives in Jersey now.
He's dead.
Peter, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I was going to say, but on the subject of autographs, and Chris, you probably went to the 3 nights dinner that Basher arranged. Sir Richard Hadley, Sir Gary Sobers, and Sir Colin Cowdrey. And I
wasn't there, but yeah.
Right. And I got Derek. It was Derek Randall benefit thing.
All right.
And I got Derek's book, his autobiography or his biography, autographed by the 3 Knights.
Okay.
And sometime later, the Lord's Taverners were looking for objects for a dinner, for a raffle or auction prizes. And I asked them if they'd like the book, and they said, yes, please. And it raised 250 quid, which I thought was quite nice.
Wow.
That's brilliant for a book. That is fantastic. Yeah. Well done. Well done.
Right.
Well, you have the memory of getting the autographs and they get the money. That's a nice thing.
Yeah.
On the subject of books, I've got that Keith Houchin book. I'll finish it, John.
All
so
right.
if I give it to Big Paul, either he and send it up to Baton tomorrow if somebody else wants it or Big Paul wants it.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it, Keith? Did you enjoy it?
Yes, it's good. The writing style is very different to a normal sportsman book. Jonathan does it in a different way entirely.
Yeah.
It's more sophisticated, shall we say.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, it's interesting, and it's not only about Keith Houchin, is it? There are lots of other anecdotes, a lot of other bits of history and geography and stuff that are related.
He talks about wherever Keith Houchin went to, he did a bit of fact finding about all the places that he went to.
Yeah.
Play that. So it's good. I have to slightly agree with John in that
That makes a change.
at first Keith Houchin comes across as a really good guy. By the end of it, or not quite the end of it, he comes across as a bit of a moaner, shall we say.
Yeah, just sound a bit mardy for a few pages, yeah.
Yeah. Jonathan assures us that he was in the book. He assures us what a nice guy he is. So I'll defer to that. But certainly in his football career towards the end, it wasn't good.
He didn't have a lot of good luck, and he made some bad decisions, didn't he? In terms of his career.
Yeah.
But he didn't have a bad career overall compared to a lot.
So I'll take that round to Big Paul's before tomorrow, if that's all right.
Talking of books,
Big
Keith.
Paul.
Yeah.
Hang on. Yeah.
Talking of books, Keith, you remind me. I had occasion to read a book by a sportsman that I got this impression that he was world champion and nothing would faze him, Johnny Wilkinson. And yet when you read it, he's so insecure, unbelievably insecure. Yeah. And you wonder how he actually managed to survive on the pitch, you know, worried about anything and everything.
Yeah.
It's a good
and he comes across as a pundit brilliantly. I mean, he obviously knows the game inside out and really speaks some good sense.
Yes, he does.
Right. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Is a question for you. It's a top 10. And it's not sport this time, it's music. There were just 10 female solo singers with a number one record in the 1960s.
Ruby
Cilla
Murray.
Black.
Scylla,
Cilla.
Alma
Lulu,
Coleman.
Alan Shapiro.
Springfield.
Stuart Clark.
Sandy Shaw.
Ellen
Sandy
Shapiro,
Shaw.
Sandy Shaw, Cilla Black, yeah.
Yeah.
Diana
Alan
Ross.
Shapiro.
Diana Ross. Must be
No.
Diana Ross.
No.
Peculiar Clark.
Yeah,
Shirley Bassey.
yes,
Little Eva.
no.
Ooh.
Lulu.
Close, so close.
Nah, she didn't make number one.
No.
This is British, sorry, and I think these are all British.
Lulu.
Yeah. No,
Lou. No
no, she
Lulu.
only made number 2.
All right.
Ruby Murray.
No,
No, she had her big hits in the 50s, didn't she?
no,
Dana.
they're not all British.
Yeah.
All right.
Mary Hopkins,
Connie
Mary
Stevens.
Hopkins. Yeah.
Mary Hopkins. Good answer.
Oh, were the days.
Connie Francis.
No,
No.
one of,
Coven,
How many have we got?
you've got about 7 of them.
Right.
well, that's not.
One of them,
Millie.
hey,
Millie Small.
no, think about
Millie
Crossroads.
Small.
Amy Turtle. You said think of Crossroads. I was thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
Her and her husband wrote the theme.
Oh, Jackie Trent.
Jackie
Jackie
Trent.
Jackie Trent, yeah.
Oh,
Now,
Less
one
than
of
a minute,
them's sort of, in a way, a latter-day Amy Winehouse.
A letter to Amy Winehouse.
Billy
Uh,
Billy Holiday, no.
No, started off in a trio.
Oh, Dusty Springfield.
Dusty Springfield.
Dusty
That's
Springfield.
Dusty Springfield about 3 days ago.
Oh,
Oh,
I missed
get
it,
on with
sorry.
it, man.
So
Cleo
there are
Lane.
just
Cleo Lane.
2 left.
Cleo Lane,
There are just 2 left. One of them has a very famous father.
Oh,
Sinatra, Nancy.
Nancy Sinatra.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And mom.
That's Nancy.
I don't know how to give a clue for it, but I think she's American.
Give us
Initially,
her initials.
BG.
Bobby Joe.
Gore. No, that's Leslie Gore. No,
Betty Grable.
Leslie Gore.
No,
Leslie Gore.
it's Bobby
BG.
Gentry.
Bobby Gentry.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Bobby
So-
Gentry, yeah.
Yeah, we're now less than a minute.
That were good. That were good, Keith.
Like that.
Yeah.
Keith.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week, chaps.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
With you tomorrow.
All
Yeah.
the best.
See you tomorrow.
Well done, Dave the Beard.
Well done,
Bye,
Dave.
everybody.
Well
Well
done,
done.
Dave. Yeah.
Well done, David.